Well, hello there, Retro PC Durham. It's Chris here with another video. It's part 3? Yeah, part 3 of our Windows 98 Retro PC build, I guess. So, last video we worked on this CPU, had the bent pins, and we tested out, made sure it actually works. So now we're actually ready to put this thing together and see if we can make it work. So first step, I hadn't done this when we did the burn-in test, because I just wanted to make sure it was going to work, and I didn't want to grease her up before it was ready. So we're going to put our thermal grease on, and I'm always having trouble getting this cap off. So get that off there, and then we will add in our thermal grease. To make sure that we get a good transfer. As a Pentium 4, this will be, you know, even though it's an older processor, it will run pretty hot, and we are just using a standard cooling fan here. So let me go ahead and put the figure out which way I'm going to do this. So this guy's going to go on this way. I got to put my clips on, and I got to make sure my fan power is over top of this. And then we'll just make sure we got this all steady. We will plop it down. We will snap our pieces in. We will tighten it up. And that is now ready to go. Perfect. And then we got our memories already installed in here. Next step is we're going to start doing our case assembly. So this will go for a moment out of the way, and we're going to put the case up onto the desk. So probably we're going to need to make some minor adjustments to height here on the old camera tripod thingamajiggy. That should be enough. That should be enough. I think that should be enough. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna bring all the things over. So we got some adapters and stuff that are gonna get put in afterwards. We have our CD-ROM drive and our LS120 drives. Well, that reminds me, the LS120 drive uses IDE. Double check and make sure I got the right. Yeah, I do. I have 2 IDE cables. I'm going to go ahead and do each one on their own channel. Wait, hold on, Chris. Let's use our brains here for a second. We have 2 IDE channels, but we have 3 IDE devices, because while this is a flash storage device, it is a IDE controlled device. So I am going to need a different IDE cable to handle 2 devices on one of the channels. So we're going to use here a double. No, this is another single. What am I doing? How about I'm trying to grab one that looks I don't know what I'm trying to do. Maybe trying to grab one that's got the same gray the same level of discoloration that the other IDE cables have. So here we go. Here's a double IDE cable. So this one goes down on the controller on this side, and then my 2 devices can plug in here. So we will use, I think this one will be our secondary controller, and this will power our CD-ROM drive and our LS120 drive. And then we will use, which one do we think? We'll use this one as our hard drive controller. So there's our 2 ribbon cables. All right, now I can put my little box of old IDE cables back on the shelf here, and that will be ready to go. Enjoyable rustling. Okay. Now we're ready to bring the case over, and we will get started. So I'm going to remove these thumb screws. Okay, and we will take this lid off. Side panel. Not a lid, it's a side panel. Then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to unscrew this part here. This holds the power supply. Now, what's interesting is I'm going to show this. I'll show this to you now so you can see what's going on. So inside the case here, the motherboard installs. The power supply actually comes out here, right? So it's, as you can see, it's going to be taking up this space here, and that means that it's actually going to be easier to install the system board in before the power supply. And I'm pretty sure normally I would do the power supply first. We're going to be a little bit opposite-y as a result. So the first thing I need to do is actually I need to find the cover here, the faceplate cover here for the system board. So I'm going to quickly come over here, and at one point in time I had my old system boards kind of organized, but things have gotten a little less organized over the last little while. Just the hecticness of life. So I just need to double check and make sure that I believe that would be the correct slot cover. I don't know. This open spot here, it might not be correct. Is it this one? This one looks like it fits okay too, but again, the serial port is open, and I'm not sure that that's... This is just like, I don't even know. I'd have to like tape that on. And this is definitely not the right one. Okay, let me do one more quick check. Let me do one more quick check if there's any more covers that I may have missed. There's one more, but this one looks like it's got missing stuff as well. Oh wait, one more hiding over here too. That's not the right one. So this is the last one. This is the last one. This one also, this one's weird. It's got, it looks like, I don't know what's the deal with these plates that have been bent up. But it's kind of interesting that we could maybe go like this and cover up the audio ports on this one. But I don't have that second piece. I can't really do anything with that. But maybe what we'll do is we'll try using this one. Does it fit again? We'll just double check. It fits. We have this extra I/O slot here that on both of these seems to just... none of the slot covers I have are correctly covering that. So it must be that either I lost the slot cover for this system board somehow, misplaced, or all of the ones, whichever one originally, whatever system I originally had this with, this, you know, I already had it off. So we're going to go ahead and use this one. And the reason why I'm going to use it is because having this cover up here will actually be rather convenient, since I'm going to be adding a standalone sound card, right, which we showed off that stuff in the first video. I don't need the audio ports that are on the system board itself. So that's good. Okay, let's move this over to the side for the moment, and then we will affix our slot cover. Sometimes said the most difficult thing to do. Well, you know what? Oh, you know what? I'm looking at this system. I'm looking at this case. I'm looking at this case, and you know what's interesting? I think this is actually the case cover that this system case originally used. Maybe we should use this one instead, just to keep things as, you know, original as possible. I'm going to punch this back out, and we're just going to take a look and see here how this one goes in. How does it go in? Does it clip in somehow? I may be wrong. Am I wrong here? But it looks like... It looks like it's just, you know, more difficult to install. But it looks like this is the same... Look at that. Like, it looks like this is the right one. And that it's... like, somehow installs, and then there's a... It looks like there's a spot for some kind of screw hole there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought when I looked at this that these little, like, notches and stuff somehow would fit in and, like, hook in. But that doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm going to say I'm actually maybe wrong. And we are going to go back with my original plan. My original plan, once again, to go ahead and use this piece here that gives some nice fit and cover. And actually, this gray here kind of comes close to matching the case coloring of gray. Interesting. Okay, cool. So we've got that taken care of. Next up, we are going to install the system board. So let me see if I can move the camera here and get a nice bird's eye view. How's that? How's that? That's not terrible. And we'll take a look and see what we've got here for case installation and where our current screw parts are. 1, 2. Look like they're all lined up. So, buttons we will install. I see screw holes for all 6 of our connections. Now we're just going to have to secure those, aren't we? So we will take out the old case screw and other sundry computer screw bin, and we will see if we can start installing some screws down here to put things in place. I don't know about you, but I am not the best in the world when it comes to organizing and sorting computer screws. I have, you know, all the different kinds of screws of different sizes and shapes. And the best I try to sort them, every time I try to sort them into the right, the right order, right, to only have, you know, the same size and the same length and the same thickness, because a case screw and a system board screw and a hard drive mounting screw, they're all, you know, just a little bit different, you know, and you can kind of make it work, you know, sometimes you can force it, but sometimes the threading just isn't quite there. Now, I'm getting lucky that I seem to have found, for the most part, we're 4 for 4 on screws being the right thread type and thickness, that they're all going in smoothly, properly. This one's not the right kind. We drop it into the other part of the tray here for the "this is not a case screw" portion. And then our final screw will go in here, and then we will tighten. Thanos of Titan. Windows 98 of Titan. Five, 6. Okay, we're done with that. Next up, I am going to install my LS120 drive, and that is going to go in here. I am going to... Oh, wait a minute, I might have to do the... Yikes, I might have to go in the front way. Yeah, that looks like we're going to have to do. The bezel is just the right, you know, thickness that it doesn't want to fit. Okay, so that's about lined up right now. I have to figure out, again, I'll show you here, you know, where I always run into a challenge is I try to sort these things out as best as I can, but I always seem to run into the problem that this section here is supposed to be, this is supposed to be the right size screws for doing drive mounting. And sometimes I'm right, and sometimes I'm wrong. So I am going to mount only on one side for today. I might come back afterwards and put the other panel off and do the other sides. We'll see how that goes. But for now, we're only going to do that. And the other pieces, I want to be cautious in case something actually doesn't work from a peripherals perspective. The system board I'm expecting is going to be fine. But if one of these other drives is not working properly, I don't want to run into a case where I've you know, opened up the whole case and screwed everything in really tight, and then I've got to take the whole thing apart to make it work. So we're just going to put the basic 2 screws in, and we'll do the 4 screws after I've got everything tested out and run. You know, just to complete it. Okay, and this is my number. Oh, I don't know if this is the right screw here. This one's got one of those weird, I can't tell if it's just a worn down Phillips bit insertion or it's just a bad screw. Okay, so that's good. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to double check how I did the, no, you know what? I didn't forget to double check because I remembered to mark this as slave and I remembered to mark this as master before we even started. Okay, now the next piece is going to be, where am I going to mount this guy? Because when I ordered this a while back from AliExpress, I went through a little, you know, I ordered a couple things off AliExpress, like some batteries for system boards and this little guy, because they're pretty cheap, and I didn't mind waiting the like 3 months it comes on the slow boat. But I bought like the most basic one. There was like, you know, there's always like 9 different versions of the same thing on AliExpress. There was more expensive ones that actually had like a case built into them, or they had a slot cover so you could actually mount it back here. And I'm not thinking I'm going to mock anything up for this today, or to start. Maybe after we get everything up and running, we'll look at something. So what I was thinking of doing on this guy was actually to do some kind of mounting like along using one of these screws here. And I thought maybe something like this would work, because I can get those screws in and I can install the drive. The only problem is I can't get the power on that way. So that doesn't work at all. If I do it like this, if I do it like this, again, I can't get the power on it. If I go on like this, I can get the power on and I can get one screw in, but I don't really have access to the SD card. So that creates a little bit of a challenge, I think, that we're going to have to figure out how to do a good job of mounting this without it being a complete and total disaster from a connections perspective. So, let's think about this. I'll have to think about this for a little bit on how I want to do this. In the meantime, we may just have it sit down somewhere out of the way until I can brainstorm exactly how I want to mount this. You know, maybe I have to go and take a look at some videos from LGR and other people who you know, inspired me to do stuff like this, to see how, you know, the tricks and stuff that they did to mount these things. Jury rigged, of course, it's the only way to do it. Okay, next up, let's put our power supply together. So, to put the power supply together, this thing, as I mentioned, gets installed in the case. So it goes and sits in like this and then screws in thumb screw. So what we need to do is mount. Let me move you out of the way so you're not, you know, destroying things. So what we need to do here is take our power supply and we need to mount this on it, like so, right? And that's going to slide into place correctly. So we'll need our 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, right? And the standard force case screws should be enough to make this work. So 1 and 2. Let's try this one. And 3 and 4. Apparently I got 3 and 4 in one. Should make a belt. And this is the wrong one. That's the wrong thread. Come out of there. Come out of there, silly. You are the wrong thread size. Let's try you. I think you're... Oh, you're much better. Much better. Size does matter. Girth. Thickness. Okay. So now that we have that done, we can install our power supply into this case. Clang, bang, smash! And that will go down like so. Fit into place. And then we just do this one thumb screw right here. And that will... where are my thumb screws? My thumb screws. Here it is. This little guy here. Okay, that is now secure, safe and secure, kind of. It's a little wonky, wobbly. Okay, now power. You know, that's interesting. It's a little, that is a little awkward trying to get the power stuff in if you haven't already, like, if you don't already know where you're going with this. I've got to get all the way down there to power. So I just got to feel our way through it. Okay, you are in. You are in like Flynn. And then we have our aux cable for power, which goes over here. And that will nicely slot into place. And lastly, we have our power delivery for our other devices. So we will go with our, you know what, I'm going to save power up there for itself. And then we're going to do power for our hard drive off of this connection here. And we're going to figure out how to do that next. Okay, so as far as our controllers go, IDE 1, you are on the front. So we will fit you like so. And then we're just going to, like I said, we're just going to kind of stuff you in here for now. Unceremoniously shoving you in the corner. My apologies. And then IDE controller number 2, we will plug our ribbon cable in, and we will get our connections done this way. So, is this going to be a pain in the butt to do? The connections here, because it's one. Oh, I'm going to have to go, well, let's see if this works. We'll see if this works. I know sometimes this doesn't go very well. And make sure I've got the right, do I have the right connection? Do I have the right connection? to get this to go. I need clip opposite side from the missing pin. Clip opposite side from the missing pin. That is not going to work this way. So if we go like this and plug in, hopefully this won't mess things up and there's not going to be some like weird cable select issues. I did mark the pin settings for master and slave, so hopefully reversing which one got plugged in first. Ooh. Should tighten those screws. I just push the drive like right forward. That's why getting the 4 screws on each side is, you know, really helpful. Okay, so we have all those plugged in now. Last thing we're going to do is give our power delivery for our CD-ROM drive and for our LS120 drive. Okay, we now have power to all of our devices. The next thing we need to do is install our peripherals. So we will install first our graphics card, this NVIDIA GeForce 2 MX adapter. That is now in, and we will screw. And then before we do our next card, we will do our case connections, because I want to put the drive, the sound card down a little bit farther, and I want to still kind of be able to see what I'm doing. This is always the most fun part, is trying to get these plugged in correctly. So let's come down here and see if we can get these done right. So the first thing we need is to see where our different plugs are coming from. I've got a power switch, which is, again, not always easy to see. Reset, power switch. I think that power switch. Okay. Reset button. Reset switch looks like it's here. Where is the LEDs? I think. Oh my goodness. MLED. Okay, I think I think that this side is power LED. I think this side is power LED, and I think this other side here is hard disk drive LED here. It is not easy to tell, as you can probably guess. And then speaker is over here on this side here. So we'll know if we did something horribly wrong if it doesn't start. And then we can always figure out hard drive. If the power switch and the reset switch both work, then I did it right. And then it's just a matter of if I got the LEDs in the correct, connected correctly, that those will, you know, those will either work or not work, depending on, you know, if I did this right or not. We could probably cable manage this a little bit better, but there's not a heck of a lot of room behind, like a modern case has. So it'll, I guess, kind of have to do. Yeah, kind of have to do. Okay, so the next piece we're going to do is, this might be, this last component, is our Sound Blaster. So we will install our Sound Blaster, I think midway down. Seems decent as far as choices go. And then we will screw that in place. And is that a voila? Is that a voila? It may very well be. Let's come back up here. Let's come back up here and take a look. I believe we have completed our assembly. And we will get this guy screwed on, tightened up, and warg. So we'll take a look at him. We'll step back a little bit, and we'll take a look here at our case. So there's our rear power switch, connections, sound and audio. I'll have slot covers installed in here once we're, you know, final. And then when we flip around to the front, oh, it was kind of cool. I show off on this case that someone had put rubbers on the bottom of this one too to use it as a desktop, but it's missing one of them, so that's not so good. We'll keep using it as a tower. And then our front end here, CD-ROM drive, the LS120 drive, like, really goes. Like, it's discolored perfectly with the rest of the front of the case. But the CD-ROM drive matches the newer metal shell, so it's not terrible. Yeah, so there we go. She's all assembled, and I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. We got a lot accomplished here, putting the system together. And then in the next video, we are going to get everything set up, powered up, and hopefully without anything broken, we will be able to do the Windows 98 install and get all of that up and running as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will tune in for the next week's video when we will take the next step in this journey. Really appreciate you spending the time today, as always, and hope you're staying safe and healthy out there, and we will catch you in the next one.